What's up, TCC, TU, and ORU? It is Samson here for the first episode of The Fitting Room. And just so you know, I don't really count this as an episode. This is more, say, a little bit of an introduction into this new season of a podcast that was started last semester. And so you probably got this sent to you from a friend, or this random guy, me, probably handed you a card, told you to scan it. Either way, I want to fill you in on a little project that we have been doing. So The Fitting Room is a podcast for college students here in Tulsa. That's TU, TCC, and ORU. And this is the first time that we have video. And so that's pretty cool. And it kind of gives students an opportunity to share their stories and gives other students opportunity to hear the stories of others. And you might be wondering why The Fitting Room and what does that have to do with stories. If you want like an in-depth explanation on all of this, I would just recommend you to go check out kind of like the introduction to the project, and it's like on Spotify and you can find it somewhere. Anyways, but to just give you a quick summary as to what we're doing, The Fitting Room comes from this idea of listening. And I feel like when it comes to this idea of a fitting room, it's the best illustration for how to listen to an individual. And so when it comes to listening, we have to set aside our perspective, right? In order to really take on what a person is experiencing. And that's the whole idea of going into a fitting room, right? You don't put on clothes over the clothes that you wear. And maybe sometimes you may have to in a thrift store or something like that. But if you're going into a fitting room, you have the opportunity to fully try on that clothing item. And so that's the same idea, right? When you're listening to someone, it is learning to be in tune so you can understand what an individual is experiencing. And what's cool about the fitting room is at the end of the day, you don't have to buy it, right? When you try on a clothing item, it's not like somebody sitting there, hey, we're ready to, for the payment. That doesn't happen. That'd be crazy if it did, but that doesn't happen typically. It is an opportunity for you to try it on, and afterward you can decide whether you want it or not. And so that's the idea of the fitting room, right? When you're listening to someone's story, you can decide after you've listened to this individual story if that is something that relates to you, if that's something that connects to you, if that's something that maybe you want to carry around as a perspective. And so now when you look at life, you realize that there are people who view it this way, and you can understand that. And what's cool about this whole thing is my main goal is to just up everyone's wardrobe. I heard this quote once that said, listening is loving. And people don't know the difference between being listened to and being loved. And that kind of struck a chord in my heart. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast, is to listen, to really understand and to be able to allow people to feel loved. Now, just to give you a little bit of a glimpse of all of this, I am, and you may not know who I am a pastor, I am an author, a speaker, and I love connecting with people. I was born and raised in Michigan, and don't ask me how I ended up in Oklahoma. That's a story of itself. But I'm here in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, married to my beautiful wife, and we are on a mission to just connect with students. But that does not mean that this is a solely Christian podcast, or my goal with this is to evangelize and to get you to become a Christian. No, the goal of this is just to hear your story. And the goal is we want to hear people from all backgrounds, right? We want to hear people, whether you are Christian or atheist, whether you, whatever your political party is, whatever your ethnicity is, whatever your beliefs are, we want to hear your story. Now, something I do want to make mention of is I do this whole thing kind of on my own. And so I don't edit my podcast. Like, these things aren't edited. I don't try to um, make them look cute. I just hit record and then we throw them up there. I have had episodes in the past where people ask me to take out certain things, and I'm down to do that. But for the most part, I don't edit these. And so I'm saying that so you know, if the quality is not up to par, that's just what we dishing out. So just work with me on that. But nonetheless, if you want to hop on the podcast, all you got to do is fill out the Google form, and we will skim through them and find stories and find people, and we'll just hit you up and bring you on. Is pretty much the process. But for this season, our main focus is going to be freshmen. And so I don't really know how the seasons are going to work or how many episodes is going to be a season. But for right now, our focal point is going to be freshmen and hearing the stories of freshmen. So if you are a freshman and you're watching this, I would love for you to fill out that Google form so that we can connect. I'm wondering if there's anything else to mention. There might be. There might or might not be. Last couple things. Last thing to mention, kind of moving forward as well, one of the things that we started up is we started up an Instagram and we started up a YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to follow along. It's going to be awesome. But we also included a text messaging service to just keep the community united. So if you are looking for community or you want to connect in any level, feel free to text the number on the screen. That's going to be the edit that I'm going to probably do because I don't have the number on deck. But feel free to text the number I'm going to put somewhere on the screen, and we will be connecting you when we do different hangouts. We'll be doing giveaways. So if you want to be a part of the giveaway, feel free to text that on the screen. We just want to build some level of community through this, a community who embraces listening. And so if that's you, let's connect. Let's do it. That's going to be fun. So aside from that, I think that's everything. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I cannot wait to hear some of the stories for this year. That's all I got. Until next time, I hope that y'all stay blessed, and I hope that you see how you fit in the fitting room. Peace.